Welcome back, friends. Today we got a little bit of news here at the goat ranch. Been meaning to share this with you for a while, but frankly I've just been too busy. Kind of forgot. But for the first time in over 20 years, we have no goats. So we don't have any goats out here in the big pasture. No goats over here. These pens. No goats up in that pasture. No goats. So what's happened is, several years ago, especially after the girls got out of high school, we kind of started slowing down our goat operation. At one time we had about 60 head out here, and we had a pretty decent breeding operation, and we sold primarily goats for show and breeding does. And then the males, we typically would weather those and sell those to the FFA kids. And feed just kept going crazy. My buddy and I were buying feed 10 tons at a time at about 65% the price of sack feed, and it just kept going and going and going. This ethanol thing is just nuts, you know. So everything that you have to feed any type of animal, you've noticed the price going up. Dogs, cats, whatever it is, chicken feed. So we knew that wasn't gonna be something we could continue to do. And with these show goats, and especially these South African boar goats, you have to pour the feed to them. I mean, that's just the way it is. They just don't get big and bulky and stay that way for show on grass. So we started winding that down. We still wanted goats here, so I bought a small group of Kikos, which are New Zealand goats. They're real hardy. The Americans haven't screwed them up yet by, overworming them for parasite protection. I rarely had to worm one of my Kikos, never trimmed a hoof, and I never ever had to help birth any of those does ever. They just spit those kids out, 15 minutes, man, they're up and nursing. They're great, little wild, little crazy, and they ate grass. I never fed them grain, never. So we put minerals out there and water, and they're good to go. And so we got to where we sold off all of our South African goats. Pardon the airplane here. We sold all of our South African goats except for a few that were older does that, we just kind of kept as pets, let them live their life out here. Our 3 guard dogs eventually got older and passed away as well, and just left us with the Kikos. But about 18 months ago, we started experiencing a problem with coyotes. Now, we always had coyotes here, and the dogs always took care of that because they were always after the kids. But in the last few years, my buddies down the road here with their sheep, he's had some coyote attacks. And so now we started having some coyote attacks on 140, 150 pound full grown does. And we didn't have any guard dogs. And there's just no way for us to protect them. So we sent those off to a ranch next county over, and they're taking good care of them over there, letting them live their life out there nice and happy on some nice green pasture. But we always wanted to do something else. And we really started working on it here in the last few months, especially after we got rid of all of our goats. And yes, what we have now are bees. So we've always wanted bees, and the world needs pollinators. And the plan was for us just to be sideliners. We were just gonna buy some hives, buy some bees, and let somebody else kind of take care of them. Because a lot of people are, wanting to do that, and they just want the honey. And there's other people that are looking for a place. They don't have a lot of acreage, and they need a place to put some hives. And there's those guys out there too. And we had a hard time finding either one, to tell you the truth. So after a lot of research and everything, I got to feeling more comfortable with the bees and decided I was going to do it myself. I did hire a mentor, and she's going to help me for the first 6 months, and then I think I'll have a pretty good grasp of it. We're going through, it's springtime now, and so we'll be having honey flow here in the summer, and we might get some honey. So we bought a couple what's called nukes, which are nucleus colonies, small group of bees. And you buy those and you put them in your hives, and we ordered some of those. And the very next day, one of the guys that had been advising me on this little project says, hey, there's a guy over here next town over, and his neighbors and his wife have kind of hinted, you know, you might have too many bees. You might want to think about getting rid of those. So he did have a lot of bees on 1 acre. So we bought some complete colonies from him. So we thought we were going to start off with 2 colonies of bees. Looks like it's going to be 4. Our other 2 that were originally ordered haven't arrived yet. But let me show you what we have here. And it's been kind of fun. Of course, I'm not suited up. And it's kind of overcast. So they're not real active, and we're not gonna mess with them. But we have this first box here on your right is empty. It's going to be home to one of the nucleus colonies. That second colony there is these 2 tall ones are 2 that I bought from the guy next town over. That's our equipment, and we just swapped out frames with bees inside them. So we're feeding them right now. As you can see, we don't have any wildflowers or anything. Way down there we have what's called a community feeder, and that's sugar water or sugar and water mixed up. It's sugar, we just call it sugar water, and the bees have been eating on that too. So we're hoping to have a lot of fun with these guys. So you're not going to see any videos with goats in the background. We're still going to be called the Goat Ranch out here, but it looks like we're going to be beekeepers. So a lot of neat stuff going on there. A lot of adventures I'm going to share with you, because let me tell you, there's a lot to learn about these bees. So anyhow, so wanted to share that information with you. Just check back on some of our adventures. We're going to try and things are kind of calm right now, not a whole lot going on. Once you get the bees established, you just kind of keep an eye on them. You don't go in there and mess with them, you know, every couple days or something like that. But you do need to keep an eye on things, make sure they're not getting invaded by mites or moths or anything like that. And we're going to try and capture some freebies, which means we're going to try and catch a swarm. So I'm going to make some boxes, swarm traps if you will, and we're going to put them out and see if we can get some free bees, because anybody that's watched my channel knows I'm not cheap, but I'm frugal. So if it's free, I'm in. So anyway, got any comments or questions, put those down below. Really appreciate you guys watching. So until next time, you guys be safe, be kind to your fellow man, and we'll see you down the road. Adios.